My name is Marta Viciedo. I'm the co-founder of Urban Impact Lab. We are a social impact and creative placemaking firm, and we have been in the good graces of partnering with people like Mana Public Art and Moishana and his amazing team is here. I don't know exactly where. Fantastic. This is how amazing people lining us up. So this is just kind of a group effort, and it's really been an amazing project. At the end of the day, this event
It's live. Now, is it vertical? Because for some reason it was fine, and then the orientation flipped on me, but it still
just
says
a few
it's...
months ago, a ton of us stood here while they broke ground on some construction just down the street.
Okay.
That's a $27
Very
million
interesting. I don't know why it's this rotation on the phone, but I'm not going to touch it because it's working.
Into a festival street.
It's fine, right?
Oh, I'm back.
Right.
Okay, so at the end of the day, this is about turning Flagler into what we have right now, right here. A place for people to gather, a place for people to dance in the streets, meditate in the streets, do yoga in the streets, and just really infuse this area with energy and life and bring it back to where Miami all started. It all started right here, right here. So we any of this work without our wonderful sponsors. That's the Downtown Development Authority, who have led the way in creating this entire district into a hub for technology, and MoonPay, who is an easy on-ramp into the crypto market, and we hope that you use them to buy any of the wonderful artwork you'll see here tonight and throughout the week. Also, we have some great sponsors, Commissioner Aimee Higgins, who I'm going to completely introduce in just a second, Ernst & Young, the City of Miami Commission, Centennial Bank, Compass, and Miami Parking Authority. And we have some amazing partners as well that we'd love to thank you for being here and thank you for making this possible. At the end of the day, none of this would have been possible with Republic and SuperRare. Let's give an amazing hands up for this monolith, the SuperRare monolith. I was here at 5 a.m. a few mornings ago, and this started as one little metal brick, and this is what they built, and it's amazing. And so thank you for partnering. So without further ado, I'm actually going to introduce Commissioner Aimee Higgins. She is the commissioner for this district, and she's going to welcome you all.
Hello. Hello, everybody. Who is happy to be on Flagler Street on a gorgeous county? I'm Aimee Higgins. I have the distinct honor of representing this neck of the woods in Miami-Dade County, and I'm joined here with my colleague Raquel Regalado, who also has signed up to be in service of the people, and we just want to welcome you here to a very exciting part of Art Week, right here on Flagler Street, in the historic section where downtown where Miami started. It is thrilling to be here with you tonight, and that you are going to share in a very special moment of entry into a week filled with art, ideas, thoughtfulness, joy, and togetherness. Something we did not do last year. So Deepak, we thank you very much for allowing us here in downtown to begin to consider we're going to see this week or hear this week and how we're going to feel. Because I think it was one of America's greatest poets, writers, and thinkers, Henry David Thoreau, who said, "It's not what you look at that matters, it's what you see." So welcome tonight. It's a very special event. We're happy to have you here on Flagler tonight. Please come back throughout the whole rest of the week and explore everywhere else from Miami Beach up to Midtown and all around. You will find that this week there's no to be.
Thank you, Commissioner. So it is my absolute pleasure to introduce Santiago from ArtRepublic. I just met Jessica probably 8 weeks ago, basically here on the street, and it's been amazing to work with her and her entire team at ArtRepublic, and she will carry us through the rest of the event, the evening.
It is such an honor to be able to contribute to Miami in this way. Miami, from about 7 years ago, truly gave me my dreams. The relationships, the quality of life here, the diversity, the energy of this place allowed me to have all of the inspiration and relationships that I've needed to bring so much into fruition. And this is the next chapter of all of that. This city is truly the city of the future. There is something incredibly magic about it. And this is a great example of that. The monolith that we were able to create in partnership with SuperRare, this was their vision, and I was very honored that they trusted me and I helped bring it to life. And ever since then, the collaborations, the sense of community has taken things to an entirely different level. We're sharing this opening night with Dr. Deepak Chopra. And I think that this particular neighborhood is going to have such a pivotal, the DNA that Miami is going to become. This is where Miami started, and is going to be where the next chapter of the merging of art and technology and community begins from now. So with that, I would like to introduce Nasha from the Deepak Foundation to share with that vision where it begins.
Thank you, Jessica. Good evening, everybody, and thank you, Commissioner. So, Paul, how many people love art? Wonderful. That's good. How many people are lovers? Wonderful. So, what we're going to do is, with this evening, start the pandemic of love. Pandemic of love, starting here in Miami. Working with Dr. Deepak Chopra, our vision was to launch Save Our Love. How do you launch NFTs for good? And we announced an NFT with Emilia Clarke to raise funds for brain injury recovery. I'm really, really grateful that we're using NFT art to really champion causes. And for us, with Save Our Love, working with Dr. Chopra, is to really use NFT and the kindness of the art community to really raise the vibration, represent causes like mental health, suicide prevention, looking at things like domestic violence against women, solutions, and using art as a modality. So once again, I'm really grateful for you all to be here, to really support Art for Good. And what we're going to do today is, Dr. Chopra is going to lead a meditation, but we want to issue a token called Love in Action. And once again, go to saver.love and claim your NFT called Love in Action. As Dr. Chopra says, love without action is meaningless. So the 4 actions you can promise today to start the pandemic of love is called the 4 A's. The first A is attention, listening with every part of your body, every cell in your body. The second A, once you have deep listening, is appreciation, understanding each and every's uniqueness. The third A is affection, kindness, tenderness, compassion. A police joke, you guys probably heard me say this, we world need tender. What the world needs is tender. So hopefully we start the movement of tenderness here in Miami. And the last A is acceptance. Accepting everybody for who they are, not what we want them to be. So let us raise Love in Action, the pandemic of love from here in Miami. We're so grateful. I would love to introduce my dear friend, mentor, and colleague who's really started this movement for NFT for Good, Green Crypto, Deepak Chopra.
Please, before I leave the meditation, please redeem your Love in Action token. It's free. And you can go to Seva.love to redeem the token Love in Action. Okay, so I'm going to do a short meditation and then we'll get going. since we're all standing, this is an eyes open meditation. Let's start with just observing the breath. This was the first mindfulness meditation that the Buddha did. As he observed the breath, he recognized something very important. We don't breathe, we are being breathed. He also recognized that breath is a sensation that arises, it's present, and then it's gone. You can't hold on to your breath. If you do, you'll suffocate. And from this came the law of impermanence. Everything that we are experiencing has the nature of arising, being experienced, and subsiding. And if we hold on to it, we'll suffocate. Okay, so with that, as you observe your breath, effortlessly, as you observe your breath effortlessly, mentally, say to yourself, I am the presence in every breath that is experienced. I am the presence in every breath that is experienced. And be present. And now shift your awareness to sound, including the sound of my voice or any other sound. Jet planes, sirens, horns. And mentally remind yourself, I am the presence in which every sound is heard. There is no sound unless I'm there. And now gently touch your clothes or any part of your skin, or just feel the sensations in your body. And once again, I am the presence in which every sensation is experienced. Look around you, these beautiful colors, these beautiful shapes, this beautiful art. I am the presence in which everything is seen. Generate some saliva in your mouth, taste it, feel the back of your teeth. Remind yourself, I'm the presence in every flavor that exists. Bring your awareness to your nostrils. Be aware of any smells, odors, fragrances. Remind yourself, I am the presence in which every fragrance is experienced. Now let's go a little deeper. evoke in your awareness an image. Let's take a few images. Beautiful sunset on the ocean. Snow-clad mountains. Rainbows. I am the presence in which everything is imagined. Think of someone you love right now. Feel the emotion. I am the presence in which all emotions are generated. Now ask yourself, I wonder what my next thought is going to be. What should come? Your next thought. I am the presence in which all thoughts arise and subside. Let your awareness now go outside the boundaries of your skin into this beautiful space. Let it expand into all of Miami, all of Florida, all of the United States, all the continents, out into the solar system, Milky Way galaxy. I am the presence in which every experience is there. There is no experience in space or time without me. And now just for a second, half close your eyes. I am the presence in which the whole universe is arising now. I am the presence in which the whole universe is arising and subsiding in timeless now. I am presence. Without this presence, there is no universe. So now just be aware of your own presence. As you're listening to me or looking at me, just be aware of that which is listening. Do it right now. Be aware of your own presence, even as you look at me and listen to me. Take this presence wherever you go, and you will be holy, and you will be healed, and you will heal everyone else that you encounter. Thank you.
I'd like to introduce John Crane, the CEO of SuperRare. He is not only right behind this remarkable platform community, revolutionary, just incredible movement that you've started within the digital art arena, and happy to have you join us on stage and have a conversation about your efforts and Deepak. So Deepak, read your book, Metahuman, the second time recently, but originally during quarantine. And I wondered if you could share with us your definition of metahuman and the qualities of being a metahuman.
The word meta, now that everybody is using the word meta, means beyond. So meta-human means beyond the human conditioned mind, beyond the divided mind. So our minds are different. Your mind is conditioned by your culture, your religion, your history, your economics. So is mine, so is this. Every mind is different. But the awareness in which the mind arises is the same. So awareness is the common ground of all experience. In that awareness, there is no space, there is no time. There is only timeless you. So when you wake up to that experience, you've gone beyond the divided mind, and there's spontaneous emergence of empathy, compassion, joy, love, insight, inspiration, creativity, higher consciousness, transcendence, and the loss of the fear of death. Because the mind and the body are subject to birth and death, less just the breath. The breath arises, is born, it dies. Sensation arises, is born, it dies. Sound arises, it's born, it dies. But the awareness in which that is happening is eternal. These days people don't use religious terms, but we could say metahuman is the soul. The human soul, the artistic soul, the collective soul, and the universal soul that we call the divine.
I've always been so fascinated with how on the leading edge of not only spirituality and wellness, but technology you are. When I was introduced to your ideas around AI and so progressive, I'm wondering if you could speak to us about, obviously we know the world's in a very polarized time right now, and now that we have this technology that is here to stay with us and that is creating such a great momentum, what do you see as the highest and best potential for how we can merge with this technology, and what are your visions for the future?
So technology is neutral, and it's an aspect of human evolution. Who created technology? Human beings. By itself, technology is neutral. But of course, you can create, technology can create nuclear weapons, biological warfare, mechanized death, extinction of species, war, terrorism, social injustice, bullying. But technology can also be sacred. It can bring us together to create a more peaceful, just, sustainable, healthier, and joyful world. But if we take sides right now, sides, right, left, divine, our idea of divine, our idea of diabolical, then there's never going to be a solution. So instead of fighting the darkness, the metaverse should bring the light of awareness. And that's all we need to do. Read a critical mass, we can hope for a more peaceful, more just, more sustainable, healthier and joyful world. It's up to us.
John, I think you have what you have created is a perfect example of that, of taking technology, using it in a way to empower artists like never before. John has been, and SuperRare, the pioneer of artist royalties, which I have been a huge advocate for. I think empowering artists in that way is absolutely transformational to culture. So I hope that you can share with us some of your ideas of the early days when you were inspired to create SuperRare.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the interesting parallels that we've talked about is awareness, and I think with art and distributed ledger technology and NFTs, one of the things that it does is it kind of like brings awareness to an individual piece of art, what's the intent for the art, and one of the components of that is royalties. So it's been historically something that's often talked about, but very difficult to kind of implement in our, pre-metaverse world, sort of, legal 2.0, whereas with, Web 3.0, it's very obvious to us three founders, you could implement royalties into the economy and the ecosystem almost trivially. Like the technology was created and very easy to do. And so a lot of the inspiration came from wanting to give digital artists a platform and a voice in a way that they didn't really have before. So my background was in advertising. I worked in New York and had a lot of friends who were incredible animators, artists in their own right, but at the end of the day, had a lot of trouble getting, gallerists to really take their work seriously. They were more seen as tradesmen, and so when I started seeing these inventions, with NFTs, and then Ethereum came along, it was sort of like an aha moment where, we can take this technology, we have all the building blocks here, and start to build, this new economy, call it the metaverse, call it Web3. We have all the pieces there, and now it's up to us humans to kind of create, the future we want to have.
A lot of the culture is still trying to understand what an NFT is, how they will use it, how it will be beneficial in the future. Can you share some of the use cases or the ways that people could be able to experience and utilize NFTs?
Yeah, so ultimately, one of the most beautiful parts about NFTs is how simple they are. So it's really just a standard for humans to exchange data, almost just like email was a standard, and now it's, a cornerstone for modern society. And so NFTs are also a very simple standard that help us uniquely identify any piece of content. And so in the case of SuperRare, where I found the most inspiration and excitement was around digital art, but you can really use it for any type of use case where it's useful to have this unique identifier. So that's, people are selling virtual land in the metaverse, or, there's a lot of these video games where there, economies have kind of developed around them, but they were always constrained to one ecosystem. And with NFTs, you can open those ecosystems up in ways that's inconceivable in the Web 2.0 model. And so we're seeing a ton of experimentation with digital art, video game items, domain names, like a lot of these things that we've become ubiquitous parts of everyday life, but we've never really had true ownership over.
I think that it's so powerful that this movement really is starting from art and community. I'm wondering, Deepak, if you could share with us what you see as the real power of community, the necessity for it, and how we can have deeper sense of community.
So just to put things in context, if you look at deep history, deep historians talk about something called the cognitive revolution, where maybe about 40,000 years ago, humans developed a language for telling stories. And that's when they became the dominant species, stories, 40,000 years ago. And then 12,000 years ago, there was something called the agricultural revolution, where we moved from being hunter-gatherers to settlements. And only 500 years ago, there was something called the scientific revolution. What about art? Art goes back to before we even told stories. So when you go back to art and look at all the caves in Europe and Asia, you see that art was the first time that humans started to express the language of the soul. Science is the language of the mind. Art is a rain on the inarticulate. What you cannot say mentally or scientifically, you can express through art. Without art, we're lost. We have no connection with our soul. Art creates communities. Art creates joy. Art expresses the torture of the dark night of the soul. But art also expresses the ecstasy of the divine. Art, without art, this would be a bankrupt society. We would be doomed to extinction.
Well said. That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. I think we need art and not only this merging of art, technology, and wellness, but love more than we ever might have in human history. We're at such a pivotal point, and I am so excited about the Love in Action campaign. It's so beautiful, so well done. It's something very simple, but so incredibly powerful that everyone can integrate into their daily life very naturally. So I'm wanting to see if you could talk to us about the 4 A's. I'm really specifically personally interested in the deep listening. How can we dive deeper into really being able to hear each other in a time where we are so divided? If we can, I think that's just so valuable to reconnect us again. But you can speak to the 4 A's, love and action.
Okay, so deep listening means being present. You listen not only with your ears, you listen with the mind, you listen with the body, and you listen in the stillness of your soul. That's attention. Appreciation is noticing that everyone you meet has a gift because they're unique. Noticing somebody's gift in your life. Affection is deep caring, and acceptance is not trying to change somebody else's behavior so that you feel better. It's hard enough for you to change when you want to change yourself. So hoping for somebody else to change so you feel better is a delusion. So these are the 4 A's that we start Love in Action with. Each one of you can, right now, or after this evening, send 2 people an emoticon and express something. I'm thinking of you. Let them do it to 2 other people, and let them do it to 2 other people, and maybe we can create a pandemic of love. Love not as a mere sentiment, but love as the ultimate truth at the heart of creation. Because, as was said earlier, love without action is meaningless. Action without love is irrelevant. But love with action can set the world on fire. The fire of love. Try it out. The best way to be happy is to make someone else happy, instantly.
is what we are here to do. That is what this moment, this evening, this festival, all of this is designed to ignite the pandemic of love. So with that, I hope you will all enjoy the artwork, connect, engage, follow siva.love, and be committed to the call to action of love in action. Thank you for being here tonight.